Thank you, Kobe, for your kind words. I came to the World Jewish Congress to help to complete the repair job that was done by my predecessor, Steve Herberts. If there are any accolades for the fact that the World Jewish Congress is now in a good state of health, it is also due to Steve, not only to myself. As you know, I came for a limited period at a time when we were still having a few problems from the past. I think that we've reached the point now where the atmosphere is ripe and the dangers out there are certainly waiting for us, for the World Jewish Congress to move forward. And it's exactly the right time that we will, hopefully, you will be appointing a successor to me within the next half an hour. More of that candidate perhaps at the end of my presentation. If you want to describe the mission of the World Jewish Congress, I think in its simplest form, you need very few words. It's to monitor and enhance the global Jewish condition and to support the State of Israel. Simple as that. Everything that we do is covered within those phrases. Today, as Ronald has said and as Eduardo has also mentioned, where we place our emphases is very clear. Israel is losing ground in the court of public opinion. The United Nations General Assembly is poised to recognize Palestinian statehood. The Iranian threat continues, even though other circumstances like the Arab Spring have somehow put it into a cloudy area. But let's not make any mistake. Iran wants the bomb. Iran intends to get the bomb. Anti-Semitism is rampant among the traditional Jew haters of Europe, and what I call neo-anti-Semitism among many of the Muslim communities has become widespread. At the present time, we fight an uphill battle to obtain just restitution from what was stolen from the Jewish people during the Shoah and the communist era. This, in short, is the downside of the global Jewish condition. Last October, Dan Diker orchestrated an international consultation with representatives of all the major Jewish international organizations and several, altogether 7, I think, Israeli government ministries to counter the assault on Israel's legitimacy. It was the first of its kind, and several committees have been established in order to address this issue. Ronald held meetings with Mrs. Merkel, Mr. Frattini, Russian Ambassador Lavrov to press the case for Israel. At the same time, Ronald hosted a dinner which brought together Ofer Eini, chairman of the Histadrut, the Jewish Labor Union, and heads of 10 other United States unions in order to launch a campaign to counter a growing movement to boycott Israeli goods. Robert Gut has played a significant role in this endeavor. Ronald, Dan, and Maram also met with, in certain discrete circumstances, with some high officials in countries best not to mention in public, in order to try to soften Turkey's hardened attitude towards Israel. If indeed the new coalition between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority holds, and if indeed they bring their unilateral declaration of independence to the United Nations General Assembly, we are preparing countermeasures. Ronald and Dan have launched a major campaign to try to ensure that the United States does not stand alone in vetoing the General Assembly's action in the Security Council, but we are also targeting other countries also on the Security Council without a veto. We are particularly targeting the ones who do have the veto on the Security Council. A meeting was held with the influential French ambassador to the United Nations, a key player, and Roger Cookerman flew over from Paris to attend that meeting. I believe, Roger, that you had a special relationship with the ambassador. Ronald led a delegation of leaders to Sao Paulo to meet with the Executive Committee of the Latin American Jewish Congress, and then they flew to Bogota to meet with President Santos of Colombia, the only Latin American state refusing to join in the recognition of Palestinian statehood. Intense diplomatic activity continues. We will be circulating an advisory document to all of our member communities to explain why we oppose the Palestinian initiative, so that everyone can have a common understanding of where we are at. The document will, of course, be run past our executive committee before it's released. At the same time, we do not neglect other traditional World Jewish Congress areas of concern. Talking too loud? Concern. Ronald made his usual annual visit to Auschwitz-Birkenau, traveling with German President Wolf for the annual commemoration of the Shoah. He attended the European Parliament Holocaust commemoration organized by Moshe Kantor. Restitution remains a pressing issue. We have been trying for 18 years to get recalcitrant East European countries and governments to return both communal and private property. And when it came to communal property, we've had some major successes. And the response from the East European countries is not uniform. The Czech Republic, I think, probably has the most outstanding republic in terms of returning property. We've received back property for communal purposes from Romania, from Hungary, from Poland as well, but we have had significantly poor results when it has come to apply for private property. Survivors are fading away year by year, and there is a real danger that most of them will pass away before they can actually be assisted in their last years, especially those in need of home care and other geriatric services. The problem we face is as follows. No East European government is going to win votes in an election by giving back property to the Jews, either communal or private. Now, some of you may be aware that an operation called Project Heart has now been established by the Jewish Agency and the government of Israel, in which they have invited any Jew in the world who has a claim or believes he or she has a claim on private property to register with Project Heart in order to be able to establish a dossier. At the same time, people like Ronald, people like other members of the World Jewish Restitution Organization, of which Ronald is the chairman, are continuing to try to apply pressure through diplomatic means. I'd like to inform you that after consultation with our committee in our strategic review on restitution, that we are taking the following position. Number one, we endorse the pressure that Project Heart is putting on the governments that are reluctant to return property. We believe that the pressure that is being put through this particular operation may perhaps force governments to accept that it's time to sit down and to discuss with us diplomatically what kind of reparations they are prepared to make. One project does not negate the other. I think they are complementary. And we will be shortly sending out an advisory again to all our constituents in order to inform them about Project Heart and inform them as to what our position is regarding this matter. At the same time, in order to protect our ability to apply diplomatic persuasion, we will not become a partner of Project Heart, but we will liaise on a real-time basis so that they know what we are doing on the diplomacy side and we will know what they are doing on their side. And you will be hearing shortly from the World Jewish Congress about how to inform your communities about this particular project. We've also been active on interfaith relations. Ronald, Dan and Maram met with Benedict to urge him to speak out against anti-Semitism, some of it indeed occurring among the radical elements in the Catholic Church itself. Our position regarding Jewish-Muslim relations is very clear. We attack radical Islam, but we reach out to the moderates who are clearly against any violence against Israel or the Jewish people. In December, together with the European Jewish Congress, we organized a gathering of European Muslim and Jewish leaders, an event hosted by Moshe Kantor. The meeting was attended by 50 representatives of Muslim and Jewish communities across Europe. It culminated in a meeting with Herman van Rompuy, the President of the European Council. We are now reaching out to the Orthodox Church as well. Rabbi Pinchas Goldschmidt has been appointed the special ensign to the Russian Church, but sadly, we have not yet made headway with the World Council of Churches, but we will keep trying. Now, this is only a thumbnail sketch of some of the activities that have taken place since the last governing board meeting in October. On the administrative side, I'm also pleased to tell you that the Israel office has become reinvigorated thanks to Dan and Sam and their staff. They've become highly active. The executive committee has become a real committee of deep involvement in the affairs of the World Jewish Congress. At the same time, our affiliates have not been idle. The World Jewish Congress and its membership in over 90 countries all subscribe to the same mission statement that I mentioned earlier, and each of them adapts it according to the circumstances in their own geographical region. As Edgar Bronfman once stated, we are united in diversity, each of us acting to enhance the status of our respective communities and to protect them from harm. I take this opportunity also to pay tribute to our excellent worldwide staff who serve the organization so well, and to the executive staff who lead them. Maram Stern, WJC's Deputy Secretary General, known as Mr. Brussels to many in the international diplomatic community and the European Union, is our organization's consummate diplomat, plying his trade with great skill. Without Hella Maritz with us anymore, Murram becomes the guardian of our institutional memory as well as the moral compass of our organizational culture. John Malkinson, his colleague, who so deftly oversees a multitude of tasks without ever losing his composure, and who is one of the engines that keeps the WJC machine running like clockwork. I think we also have to acknowledge the great expertise. Chaim Ries has been mentioned, but thanks also go to Claudio Eppelmann, to Betty Ehrenberg, to Lawrence Weinbaum, and to Mikhail Schneider and Serge Twigenbaum. A new arrival, Sam Grunberg in the Israel office. And if you add up the combined skills of this team, I think that you will agree that we are extremely fortunate to have a team of seasoned professionals ready to go. My successor, who shall not be named yet. I'd also like to thank members of the World Jewish Congress Foundation Board and staff for all their efforts to raise funds on our behalf at a time of great economic turmoil and uncertainty. It has been my pleasure also to work with World Jewish Congress lay leaders who provide our worldwide enterprise with wisdom and the benefit of many years of experience. They, too, are the virtual archives of our collective memory. The World Jewish Congress and its affiliates are blessed with knowledgeable and dedicated Jewish leaders. I now want to say a few words about the Secretary General designate. Dan joined us about, I think, 15 months ago as the Director for Strategic Affairs. He has brought with him the most enormous amount of exuberance, energy, brilliance of strategic thinking, and extremely high energy. He has given the World Jewish Congress a shot in the arm, a real tonic, and it has been a real pleasure to work with him. Dan, I thank you for our collaboration. And finally, I'd like to pay tribute to our leader, President Ronald Lauder, who not only gives much of his time to advance the status and well-being of Israel and the global Jewish community, but who also, as Kobe has said, underwrites the World Jewish Congress through his generous annual donation. Ronald has steered the organization to new heights of endeavor and accomplishment and has ensured that the World Jewish Congress is once again a major factor in global Jewish affairs. I thank you.